How many men have stood here and mocked these battered ruins? And yet, here they remain, bent but unbroken, while their detractors lie in the dirt beneath. There's a lesson here, traveler. There is no shame in kneeling. Sometimes those who stand tall before the gods end up losing their heads. Ah, given that I'm a Thalmor, I suppose you think I was referring to mankind. But no, I don't care to discuss politics. At least not with my tongue. It was simply an observation on the nature of survival. Nothing more, nothing less. I was on my way to the embassy when I took a detour. The roads are too quiet for me. I prefer a little more entertainment. We do. Unfortunately, the dead don't walk. I had little choice but to leave my colleagues behind. The vagaries of the road, I'm afraid. At this point, I'm safer traveling off it. Gods, no. While I am a justiciar, swordsmen in the Dominion are typically second-class warriors. Hardly. There's a reason for the hierarchy. Books are hard, and wizards are smart. The usual. Weeding out Talos worship, killing Stormcloaks. Of course, at this rate, we might want to eliminate the actual bears first, as opposed to those bearing its flag. Aha! Are you implying that I should trust you with it? Clearly, you aren't aware of how little patience we have for foolish requests. Gods, no. Very well, but be brief. I may be more cordial than my cohorts, but I'm also a fantastic liar. Very well, but be brief. I may be more cordial than my cohorts, but I'm also a fantastic liar. If you find any evidence of Talos worship, be sure to contact the proper authorities.
If I had been an elf living in Windhelm, I would have left the city immediately. A cave is not a cave without some mammoth bone spread at the entrance. That's what I always say. Was that you? What did you eat? What was that? We are a good team. Don't you think so? Hey! My... Ord. I'm gonna see if you will be so dead. fast. Shall we continue? Strange. You think you can beat me? Go ahead. Don't you even try that. You made a big mistake. You're a creep. You're as good as dead. Don't you even try that. Is that the best you can do? Huh? Uh-oh. Did I scratch your pretty face? Now I'm gonna get you. Come on, show me how brave you are. We are a good team, don't you think so? did well. Don't you think so? Yes, what is it? Look! I'll smash his head. You'll taste my sword. Now I'm gonna get you. I'm not afraid of you. What's wrong with you? I'm not an enemy, you know. I'm not afraid of you. A Nordic ruin. What say you? Should we investigate? Did you hear that noise? Wonder what it was. You'll taste my sword. Did you hear that noise? Wonder what it was. You'll taste my sword. I'll kill you. Another one down. Now I'm gonna get you. You think you can beat me? Go ahead. Look over there. Was that my fault? This place could be massive. We have to be careful so that we don't get lost. I'm not an enemy, you know.
Did you even try that?
I don't think it should be murder to accidentally kill another adventurer in a cave. After all, we all know. The risks. Yes? Tell me, what do you want? I'm learning more every day. I'm so glad. Yes? Of course.
Taste my sword! I'm gonna cleave you with my sword.
I'm so glad that we're traveling to Elderglin Sanctuary together. The Skyrim wilderness is so scary when you're all alone.
Helgen, led by a dragon. Hard to believe, isn't
Do
it?
you need something? We're paying our respects to me dead husband. Henry and I lost his father in the war. Now, I do what I can to get by and care for Henry. Thank you, we manage. I just have to keep Henry entertained and out of trouble. That's the really hard part.
Hi there. Oh, okay, I guess. It's hard with Father gone. I really miss him. I wish I were older. Then I'd join up with the Legion and get my revenge on those Stormcloak rebels who killed Father. But Mother says I can't join until I'm 17.
Unless we have specific business, I'm not interested.
Sibyl Stentor has a grasp of magical theory that I would never have expected from a human, even a Breton. You are free to
I would
leave.
like you to oversee this work personally.
I swear to you, unnatural magics are coming from that cave. There are strange noises and lights. We need someone to investigate.
Then we will immediately send out a legion to scour the cave and secure the town. Hafengar's people will always be safe.
Your Eminence, my scrying has suggested nothing in the area. Dragon Bridge is under Imperial control. This is likely superstitious nonsense.
Perhaps a more tempered reaction might be called for?
Oh, yes, of course, you were right. Falk, tell Captain Aldous I said to assign a few extra soldiers to Dragon Bridge.
Thank you, Jarl Elisif. What about the cave?
I will have someone take care of the cave as well, Varnius. You can rest easy. You're dismissed.
Be quick. I have little patience for mundane concerns. Take care of yourself, and oh, I have so very many ways to... Spells and incantations for those with the talent to cast them. Stay guarded. You never know what could be out there.
As you know, Solitude's coffers are much depleted by the war efforts.
I'm sorry, can I help you? The museum is currently closed until further notice. Well, you do look the adventuring sort. Perhaps you can. You see, we are in need of a vast... And I'm afraid that the mercenaries and treasure hunters I've hired... That would be fantastic. Perhaps you'll be able to access any and all of your collect... Excellent. Well, let me give you the 10 Septem tour, then. This building was once called Macnerian Hall, and it was the site of a Temple of Talos, built before the Grand Temple here in Solitude. It is now named Dragonborn Gallery, named for the ancient legends of the Nordic people of Skyrim, where the museum makes its home. To your right is the reception hall and staff barracks. To the left, the library, where I do most of my work. Through the library, you will find your way to the armories upstairs and the Dragonborn Hall, where various relevant displays will be built, heralding more of your accomplishments. Up ahead, you will find the main gallery, which I call the Hall of Heroes. There are 4 connecting hallways that all lead to the Daedric Gallery, the Hall of Lost Empires, the Gallery of Natural Science, the Hall of Oddities, and the one that leads to the Upper Gallery, which is an extension of the Hall of Heroes. As you can see, I've already been fast at work preparing exhibit plaques in the hopes that you will happen across these relics in your travels. I've done years' worth of research and found that many of the great relics of Tamriel have for some reason gravitated to Skyrim. Perhaps the energies that lie within these relics sense the impending crisis. At any rate, have a look around, and then come talk to me when you're ready to move forward. Very simple. You keep doing... Have a look around, and I will commission and build anything of relevant consequence. Well, here in the Hall of Heroes, the Daedric Gallery, and the Hall of Lost, the armories you can display. If you bring some samples of flora and fauna, you can build fauna displays and... Good day. See you around.
Oh, it's so nice to just talk a little, you and I. I was just thinking, would you be interested if I told you a little about myself? Well, as you have been so kind, I guess you're entitled to know a little about me. I was born in a place called Solstheim, northwest of Morrowind. All women in my family are alchemists, and my mother wants me to follow the tradition. However, I must admit that I have never been very talented. I have always wanted to be a bard, to play music and to tell fascinating tales. My grandmother used to tell wonderful stories about fairies and trolls and witches, and about the life of her own adventurous grandmother. She always encouraged me to try to find my own path in this world. Yes, it is thanks to her that I'm now in Skyrim. Well, at least partially. Well, it is a long story. I don't really want to go into it right now. Maybe later, if we get to know each other better. Sure. As you wish. Sure. All right. Of course. Shall we continue? What do you need? If you want me to, I could read a book for you.
I wish only to graduate and enroll with the Legion. My drums will lead our troops to victory.
I'm not interested, Jari. It doesn't matter how many times you ask.
You might want to rethink that. You're missing out on some wonderful opportunity.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
Papa says I won't see Ravir anymore. But he wouldn't tell me why not.
Hello, I'm Gisley, but you can just call me Erica's sister.
Everyone does.
I've only been a part of the Red Wave's crew for a few weeks, but I've already learned to stay out of Captain
Getting on the
Safia's.
first boat out of this accursed province. I don't know about you, but I've got to get as far away from Skyrim as possible. It was a cabin somewhere on the north bank of the White, near Riverwood. A kind old lady was living there. Or so I thought. She let me stay the night, but told me not to go into the cellar. Naturally, I got curious. There was all sorts of oddities in there. I think she was a witch or a necromancer or something. In any case, I got out of that cellar and never stopped running.
Beware, beware, the black horse comes.
I know. I considered going to a face sculptor, but she refused to work with me. You can try her if you want. She lives in some hole in the ground over in Markarth. Safe journeys.
Forget wine, women, and wealth. Give me a calm sea and a good book, and I'm happy. If you need a good rumor or two, I think I can oblige. Welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Seems there's always more to be done.
My father was all the family I ever had. I felt so lost when he died. But the crew of the Red Wave's my family now.
This drink's on me.
Wouldn't it be nice to just talk a little, you and
if you
I?
insist.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Hi, the Black Horse Courier was sent. Want to buy the latest edition? Or do you want to subscribe, perhaps? Sure thing. Take a look. Bye.
Feel free to make requests. Generally, if you want rumors, you should talk to Corpulus. That said, I did see a visitor pass through on his way to the Blue Palace.
By blade or by spell. If you want it dead, I'll make it dead. All you need to do is pay my fee.
Hello there. We haven't met, have we? I'm Fironet, although my friends call me Firo, or Netta for short. Although I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. We just met, so we're hardly friends. Not to mean that we won't be friends someday, or even today. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. Can we start over?
You should think about staying the
Good
night.
week, my boy.
Corpulus.
Loud customers mean good cheer, and good cheer means a full...
Oh, well met as well. I mean, well met and greetings. What I'm trying to say is, greetings and well met.
Why not let me run
Oh, sweet taffy treats, I did it again, didn't I? Well, I was kind of hoping I could.
What about
I know you're probably thinking I've gone mad the way I fumbled through our meeting.
favorite girls?
And truth is, I'm perfectly happy just being Netta the milkmaid. Well, my friends have all said that I have a great singing voice. I suppose they should because that's what friends do. But after hearing it a number of times from different people, you start to think there's something to it. So, here I am. No, not yet. I talked to Viarmo and he said that Pantia Tea would hear my audition when her schedule clears up. Which is completely understandable. I imagine a master vocalist must have a very hectic schedule. I bet you're right. I don't know about demanding it, but at the very least I should put more pressure on Pantia to see me. I guess I'm just worried that if I annoy her enough, she'll deny my admittance before I even finish my warm-up. I know. I have a tendency to overthink things, too. Safe journeys.
By spell. If you want it dead, I'll make it dead. All you need to do is pay my fee.
There's been rumors of Talos worshippers leaving notes at the temple of... Oh, sweet taffy treats, I did it again. Well, and truth is, But after hearing it a number of times, right now, my biggest fear is having my throat go hoarse the day Vantea calls my name. And I still haven't recovered from that bout of rust chancre. One of the bards from the college suggested chewing on Nirnroot, but I wasn't sure if he was serious. You're probably right, but I can't afford something that fancy. And I'd feel bad asking Angeline for a favor, especially after all she did for me when I was sick. Oh no, I came here on a ship from Laneland, near Iliac Bay in Hammerfell. I didn't come alone, though. My fiancé at the time came with me. He stuck it out here in Skyrim for a few months, but eventually boarded a ship headed back home. It's my fault, really. I knew he didn't want to come to Skyrim, and it was probably the guilt that made him follow me here. It's one of those things. If I loved him, I shouldn't have asked him to leave. And if he loved me, he wouldn't have asked me to stay. So in the end, I guess neither of us loved each other. But we'd already invested so much time into the relationship, and so he sacrificed everything for me. Just the lute. Can you imagine me on the drum? I can't. Well, the lute I have was my grandmother's. My mother gave it to me before I left. She said I told her that made two of us. You mean like sing? Right here. Is there anything in particular you want to hear? You mean like a song that I wrote? How about I sing it, and you can give me some guidance as to whether it's good? Alright, here goes. Snow falls on all the land, all the land, all the land.
Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell
Snow
you,
falls
the
on all the land, shrouded by dark wings.
of the ancient Nord art.
A child prayed unto the gods, save the
It's an
land,
end to
save
the evil
the land.
of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, beware
And the gods
Hail,
said
traveler.
unto
What brings you to the tavern?
the Skyrim come spring.
I bet you are. And the best kind of drink is the kind made to be spilled. Just an orc with a lot of time to kill. A game of sorts. One that both of us can appreciate. We each kill 6 men. First to 6 wins the prize. But to make things more interesting, the targets have to fall within a set of rules. That's fine. The rules don't state you have to kill the innocent. The only thing that matters is their name. I will kill 6 people. 1 for each letter of Elisif's name. You will do the same for Ulfric. And it must be in order. Meaning the first person you kill must have a name that starts with the letter U. It could be Ulendil, the stable master, Uvra, the vampire, or even Ulfric himself. That is rule number 1.
This one's a favorite of mine. A legend we all know
No
and love.
Nords, save for the first and last letter. Given we're in Skyrim, it would be too easy otherwise.
I tell you, the dragonborn comes.
Gold is boring. You win, I fight by your side. I win, you do something for me.
Believe, the dragonborn comes.
Whenever I can find a willing player. You see, I've grown bored by killing people the old-fashioned way. Orcs were never meant to live long lives. I'm guessing this is why.
For the darkness has passed.
Happy hunting.
The legend yet grows.
Seems there's always more to be done.
What is it?
I was done talking anyway.
Drink all you want, but don't forget to spill.
I've heard mead dries the throat, and milk tends to clog it. I've also been trying to drink plenty of water and avoid the hearth. Hopefully it's enough.
Could you check out supplies of mandrake root?
Which one is that again?
It's the root that looks like an ugly little man.
In that case, I'm pretty sure it tried to buy me a drink last night.
If you like me to, I can also make some potions. It's so nice to just talk a little, you and I was just thinking, I told you of my grandmother and how she encouraged me to try to find my own path in life rather than trying to live up to my parents' expectations. Already when I was a little girl, I preferred to dance and sing and tell stories rather than helping my mother mixing herbs. On my 10th birthday, my grandmother gave me a flute, a very special flute made out of Cyrodiil dogwood. It was like a whole new world opened up for me, the world of music. As soon as I had 5 minutes on my own, I was playing the flute. It didn't take long before I made up my mind. I wanted to be a bard. Of course my parents, and in particular my mother, were upset when I told them. You see, all the women in my family are alchemists, and everyone had taken for granted that I would follow the family tradition. However, my grandmother was on my side. She encouraged me to play, and she listened to my music. And she told me about the Bard College in Skyrim. But when I told my parents I wanted to go to Skyrim, they got furious. You see, they had completely different plans for me. Look, can we talk about this some other day, when we know each other a little better? Shall we continue?
Ah, welcome to Angela's
What do you
Aromatics. Can I help you with some herbal
Of course.
needs?
Yes? Of course. Of course. What would you like to know? I always keep some ingredients in my personal. But if you want me to do this, you have to give me at least one. Of course, I can also work at an alchemy station. If you just give me useful ingredients, I might be able to do some good potions for you.
I'm a little busy at the moment. I've got all sorts of errands.
They say if a vampire so much as scratches, you'll turn into one. That better not be true.
I'm suffering from the trade.
Taste my sword! You taste my sword!
That takes me.
Sorry, I was lost in thought. I'm planning my wedding, you see. So many details to work out.
No lollygagging.
Who are you? If Sathia sent you, tell her to piss off. I'm a salvager now. You hear? The captain of the Red Wave and a real slaughterfish of a woman. must have barnacles in your ears. I said I'm a salvager. I salvage. What part of that don't you understand? Looks can be deceiving. Look at you. You don't look annoying at all, but you are. Why do you care? Seems like it ain't no one's business but my own. All right, you got me there. The meat-face used to be my captain, all right. I used to salvage for her. Now I salvage for me. It was Sabine. You might think it's funny, but that woman inspired me. I've run with other crews, met all sorts of shipmates, good and bad, male and female, man and beast. None of them worth a salt pile. When I was living in elsewhere, I heard stories about the Red Wave and their firebrand of a captain. In fact, I happened to be at the port in Sensual when the Red Wave docked. On her bow was this armor-clad woman with a shock of hair and a two-handed battle axe barking orders at the men. Now Sabine's a Breton, tiny enough to crawl into the egg I hatched from. But there's something about her. Maybe it's the hair, but more like it's her presence. She has this way of standing over you that makes you forget how small she actually is. She was shorter by half, but stood taller than all. She was a giant. I walked right up onto the deck of the Wave and told her I would follow her to the bottom of the Potomac if she would make me part of her crew. She laughed, of course, said, "That ain't up to me, Leatherface, although if it were, you'd be fish bait." What a woman. Even then, I wasn't no hatchling, but I never felt so puny. Imagine my surprise when I found out that she, Joris Safia, was captain. So is your face. I could do better than that. Next time, stranger, you'll see. Shove off.
By order of the Jarl, stop right there. Smart man.
You talk to Egg Brothers. Deja has no words for you.
The weather is positively sublime, isn't it? Crisp air and a clear sky. The Divines have truly blessed us today.
Looking to hire a boat? I can take you to any port on the coast.
When I was working at the Winking Skeever, Sorix told me about Rogvir, that he was a mean bully. Maybe he was bad, but did he deserve to be executed?
Right, ma, long as I don't sully me cup. Can't blame me for winching those lady mud crabs. They can't get enough of a true manted gentlefish. A baby to you dauber. Better not hit me off or I'll tube you right in the man baggies.
Did you know that Angeline Moreau's daughter joined the Imperial Army? I think Angeline is very concerned over her.
Go cause magic someplace else. I venture like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
Seen some mean-spirited folk pass through lately. Thought I was rid of those sorts when I left Markarth. I grew up an orphan on the streets of Markarth. I'd have died there too, but for the kindness of an old warrior named Logrove the Bent. Logrove rescued me and gave me enough money to get out of the city. I followed the Karth River north and came here. When I met Michelle, I knew this is where I belonged. I suppose that's it, really. Both the Imperials and Stormcloaks have sent riders this way, scouting the bridge in the lands nearby. They stayed at the inn but didn't pay. They said soldiers don't need to pay because they're risking their lives to protect us. And that's not all. They took a heap of our lumber, and one tried to have his way with my daughter. They think they can do whatever they want. Of course. Every night I pray that we don't get a visit from a dragon, or that two armies don't show up to fight over the bridge. You ask if I'm worried. I'm terrified, if you want the truth of it. But I have to stay strong for my wife and children.
You're the one casts those illusions. Impressive.
Make yourself useful and chop up some firewood. There's a few coins in it for you. Damn right it has. Demand's never been so high. At least not since I built the new mill. Hard to say. It's ancient. That much we know for sure. It was here long before the town itself. I just hope the bridge survives the war. It's the only place you can cross the Karth River for a long way in either direction. Could be if one side wants to keep the other from coming across. They might try to knock it down. Her name's Olda. If you've met her, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. I swear that woman is the most spiteful shrew in all of Skyrim. I think there's a chunk of ice where her heart ought to be.
Keep walking, stranger. Got nothing to spare for travelers nor refugees here.
Hail, companion.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
You there. Heed my request. It'll only take a moment of your time. For what I ask plain. If you're a bard, for your own sake, do not sing, for your voice cannot compare to mine. You say that because you have yet to hear me sing. Once you do,
While I was working
my
in
voice will
solitude, I
echo
visited
in your
Dragon
mind to
Bridge
the
a few
distraction
times.
of all other thoughts. That's right. Although I wasn't always a handsome bard, I used to be a handsome adventurer, and before that I was just handsome. Unfortunately, my adventuring days came to an end after I nearly lost my life in a scuffle with a group of bandits known as the Silver Hand. After that, I figured it wasn't worth it. Sure, I was a damn good fighter. The best. But I was damn near good at everything else, too. I owed it to this world to keep me alive. I can't even begin to imagine what sort of Daedric nightmare Skyrim would be if I didn't exist.
Of course, Julian. What's on your mind?
It happened in an inn, not unlike this one, where I met this lovely tavern wench, a bit chubby, but on the voluptuous side of fat. I could have charmed and cajoled her, but I've always been the type to show rather than tell. So I showed her just exactly how her previous lovers had failed her. Unfortunately, my favorite thrusts were such that she accused me of turning into a beast during the height of my passion. Literally.
I'm so glad that we're traveling
To be
the
specific,
Elegant Sanctuary
she said I
together.
was a werewolf.
The Skyrim
When
village
rumors
is
spread
so
around of
scary
my
when you're all alone.
transformation, I became a target of the Silver Hand. That wench made the coffin maker a lot of money that day, with all the men I was now forced to kill. I'm beginning to think the two were kin.
Clearly he was wrong. Yet,
If you want to be
I
a
do
great
think he
fighter,
meant well.
I only have one tip. Be me. Since that is impossible, instructing you would be a waste of both of our time. I don't mean it as an insult regarding your ability, just a matter of praise for
I've
mine.
always liked rural
Some people
inns.
take it the wrong
They're so
way,
cozy.
however. Foremost among them was that Breton imp. He's an old acquaintance of mine. Joined up with wolf hunters just so he could have a chance to kill me. As if I could be killed. In fact, the little carrot licker's been trying to kill me for more than a dozen years now. Back when my balls had more fur than his chin. We fought with swords, bare knuckles, knives, bows, and scrolls. We fought in the snow, in caves, in taverns, and on horseback. We fought alone, with companions, on opposite sides of the war. The one place he doesn't like to fight is out in the sun. I think it's because he's a bloody vampire. Now that I'm a bard, he'll likely become a writer so he can document his lies in books while I immortalize the truth
Skyrim
in
DMs are
song.
so beautiful and so full of life. I can watch them for hours.
I remember bits and pieces, a few stories here and there, but I can hardly keep a ledger. If you want the details, you will have to ask him. I can't be expected to recall events that are so unworthy of my memories. If you're that interested in my exploits, I'm sure I can drudge up a few details. Let's see. I believe it was a stormy night in
One
Whiterun,
does not have
and
to
travelers from across the hold crammed themselves into the bannered mare. I remember being confronted by a child dressed from head to toe in steel. Only upon removing his helmet he revealed himself as the Breton. In the interest of sport, I offered to allow him to duel me on horseback,
Honestly,
while I fought
some bandits
blindfolded.
are so silly.
It was the only way to
They
even the
always
odds.
hang around in the same old places.
We
You
settled
might
on
as well
mounted
have your bow
combat,
ready when you
which
walk
I
up to
accepted
them.
knowing that he had already bribed Skulvar into giving him the superior horse. The rain continued to pour that night, our horses trundling through the mud. It was his opinion that the vast tundra would make
Which
for a
of the
fine
mountain
arena.
flowers is your favorite?
I could barely see through
I
the
like
blades
the
of
red
water
ones.
that whipped into our
On the
eyes
other hand, the
as he
blue ones are
positioned his
useful
steed
for
100
health
horse
potions.
lengths from mine. We were to charge at the sound of his companion's horn, and when it blared, I flew. I flew through the storm like a mighty chariot, hassles of
What
water
a
fling about in
nutcase.
my wake. I felt the elements swirling around me, focusing their energy into my axe. I knew then the Breton would die that day. Only the
Have
little
you ever
imp
seen
was
a
nowhere to be
hate-headed
found.
called Pretty?
I assumed he had fled. That would have been the sensible thing. When I found him lying in the mud, his horse having slipped and broken both their legs, he blamed me,
I don't think
of
that
course,
Greenwood Free
for
Wind is
sabotaging
very
his
fond of
horse.
Ulfric.
What does he think? I used some sort of mind control on the beast? I wouldn't put it past me, but it's not a power I possess. I am inclined to believe it was his companion that brought him a lame horse, in order to salvage the little imp's life. Until next time.
Make it
What
quick.
do you need?
Make it quick. How should I know? He told it to me once. Shouted it at me, really. But I couldn't be bothered to remember such an insignificant detail. You'll likely find him wherever it is filthy skeevers like to congregate. My name will most assuredly be the first word out of his mouth. You'll have to ask him. I haven't the faintest idea. Probably fell in love with me or something, seeing as I have that effect on women and men. All I know is, wherever I go, he manages to show up. The humblest of births, but someday, the most glorious of ends. That is, if someone like myself is even capable of dying. I'm not entirely sure. Yet I am indeed a far cry from the life my mother sought to raise me in when she was but a handmaiden working in Dragon's Reach. In my childhood, I grew up around nobles, thanes, and highborn lords, sworn to the servant's oath, to perform one's duty and to go unnoticed. Indeed, only I can think of nothing more dreadful than going unnoticed. You see, I've always longed for attention, yearned for it, craved it. And there is no pure attention, no higher appraisal of one's worth than the giving of applause. That's what I play for. The last pluck of a lute string and the faint echo of silence before the crowd roars in appreciation. I play for both the silence and the roar, the anticipation and the climax. The moments that seem to go on forever, and yet are never long enough. Some think it was a voice born to tell stories, or one meant to lead men into battle. Others contend my very throat was forged by dragonfire. I've heard some describe it like a bottle of hard whiskey and boiled potatoes, like smoke misting off hot coals. Most tell me it's a voice that carries with it a sense of authority, a voice fit for a king. I do nothing to dissuade such accusations. Now imagine this regal, manly voice of mine singing all the bard's favorites. My patrons from here to Riften will come to this inn to hear it. Yet despite me doubling her business, Vaida insists on charging me for a room. Such greed is unbecoming. Of course you would. Tell me, with what song shall I escort you to the heavens? Ah, a good request.
Make it quick.
All across this great white land we fight to die with sword in hand. Bandit, pirate, soldier, king, for a warrior's life we shout and we sing. A warrior's life through and through. Fighting wars, old and new, and when it's done, take me home across the bridge of old Whalebone. Give me an ale and give me a beer. A salty wench and plenty of cheer. Give me a brawl or two or three, and bands to sing of you.
No trouble in Dragon. Don't start any trouble, and I think we'll get along just fine.
Warrior's life through and through, fighting wars, old and new, and when it's done, take me home to the great mead hall of ancient stone.
Yeah. About time.
You Tell me, do you think I'm attractive? Well, sure, so do I. That doesn't mean you aren't above having an opinion on the fairer sex. For instance, one of the mages in my guild, a female high elf, is very, very unattractive. Although I do admire her strength. Her neck must be so strong to hold up that boulder she calls a chin. Alduin is my arch enemy, my nemesis in love. Nelos is always talking to her, confiding in her, when he should be doing those things with me. It makes no sense why he prefers her company. Unlike that Somerset I saw, I'm a fellow Dunmer. Not to mention I'm cuter, funnier, and by far the more talented mage. And the worst part is they just met. How can he value the counsel of that drunk over his companion of 5 years? You don't know that. You haven't seen the way he looks at me, the way all males look at me. It's the kind of look that makes you nervous and excited, in control and yet completely powerless. I'd recognize it anywhere, especially on him. Arguably the greatest mage in all of Tamriel. But when it comes to who is most dashing, I will tolerate no argument. He is a Dunmer of average height, but immeasurable stature, his eyes burning with the fire of the Red Mountain itself. For all those who serve the guild, he is our leader, our mentor, our muse. He is the hand and we are the fingers, waiting for the long night when we clutch all of Nirn in our palm. We are a small group of mages, whose ideals do not always align with the 100 or so guilds that now roam Tamriel in place of the one. The Synod is too political. The College of Whispers is too short-sighted. The Sishiks are too close-minded. And let's face it, Winterhold is a wreck. The Radiant Dark is open to all who possess skill with magic, whether the light you cast shines brightly or darkly. Those who have power seek it, not for politics or justice, knowledge or peace, but for power itself. Oh, you can't just ask to be in the guild. Nelos has to select you, and he has a very discerning eye. Alduin may have the face of a slaughterfish, but her hands know fire better than her mouth knows wine. Gerard may ramble on like a fool, but his talent for alteration can bend city walls as easily as it bends spoons. And this does not even include the 5 acolytes of Nelos's personal guard, one for each school of magic. When they recover the knowledge that was lost, we will be that much closer to the day of the long night. The one written on the face of all who fear us, for Nelos himself wrote it. I've often thought of how it will come, dreamt of it. Imagine a cool winter night, when the only sound you hear is the wind threading through the trees. The sort of nights made for long shadows and dark phantoms, for quick daggers and hot blood. A night born for unholy rituals, hushed whispers, and shivers down the spine of children and men. A night when the end of all things is possible, a wonderful night to have a curse. The actions do indeed result in death and destruction, but there is no malice. It is a test of mortal power. Those who are righteous may seek to dominate the wicked, and those who are wicked may seek to dominate the righteous. The only thing the Radiant Dark does not brook is turning on each other, a tenet I find most difficult when in the presence of Alduin. The ugly harlot aside, the long night will be ominous to all who crave peace, but pure felicity to all who yearn for battle. I am, and I'll have you know it wasn't all talent. I worked very hard to become the mage I am, a mage not everyone thought I could be. I still remember when I was but a novice at the college. Whenever I cast a destruction spell, everyone would comment on what a good enchanter I was. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think they were insulting me. Although, to be fair, I am a good enchanter. The best. Yes, But I found where I truly excel is with spells of frost and cold. I was in the Arcaneum studying a tome on that very subject when I first met Nelos. He looked so menacing with that lick of hair and blades of war paint slashed across his face, yet his voice was gentle. He asked me if I understood the tome I read. I could only nod what remained of my head as my body melted into the floor. His questions turned out to be a sort of audition, one that I naturally passed with flying colours, despite Nelos having sailed under false ones. Nelos recognized my talent for destruction and chose to cultivate it, whereas Mirabelle wanted me to train under the Master Enchanter. Of course, he wouldn't accept me into his guild without first passing 3 additional tests. The first was to still his heart, the second was to make him smile, and the third was to take his breath away. Okay, so maybe those tests were self-imposed, but I still plan on passing them. There's no way to be certain why the Divines blessed me with such a specific gift, but I do know how. You see, fire scorches and lightning shocks, but ice is a paradox, for it can both destroy and preserve. In fact, my grandmother once believed frost magic was the key to eternal youth. Well, the old bat thought if she slowed the heart and the body, she could slow the aging process itself. Every day she cast frost spells on herself, trying to delay the appointment the wrinkles had with her neck. Yet it only left her skin cracked and dry and whiter than a Nord's. She was a living ghost. Soon her health began to fail and she no longer could muster up the magicka for her daily treatment. That's when she bought me a tome on frostbite. She was completely mad, of course. Should a child always listen to her elders? Was it wrong for me to end her miserable existence? Those spells restore the body to their natural state. Aging is natural, death is natural, so restoration would only undo what the frost had done. In this instance, it might have saved her life, but it would not have made her young. Now, frost spells, they will undoubtedly kill you as they killed her. On the other hand, her corpse is very well preserved. It was a book recommended to me by the librarian's apprentice on the nature of destruction magic. While some schools attempt to mimic reality and others try to alter it, it was unclear whether destruction was doing one or the other. When you harness the elements, do you draw them from nature or manifest them? When heat is drawn to make fire, does the air lose warmth? Much of this was explained to me by Nelos. Not that I needed him to. I understood it just fine. I just wanted to hear his voice. In any case, he told me how the answer lies in the beasts of the wild and the world around us. When plants fail to grow in mage light, it's proof alteration is not natural. When the invisible can be touched, it proves that illusion is not real. Then look at the way catfish come to the surface when the earth is about to quake, or how rodents scurry indoors days before winter. Nature knows what's real, and it will react to a coming storm in the same fashion, whether it made by mortals or gods. When the guild I belonged to last met, Nelos instructed us to refrain from contact for the time being. I suspected this might be some clever attempt for him and Alduin to escape on some tryst, which neither I nor the laws of decency could abide by. So I followed Nelos to Harfinger, but only got as far as Dragonbridge before I lost track of him. I wait here now in hopes that he might return, and in fear that she will be with him when he does. About time. What is it?
Respect the law, and you'll have no trouble in Dragonbridge. I've done my part. Dragonbridge will have extra guards. Falk Firebeard will find a way to take care of the cave.
Fate is the name. I keep the inn. Been talk of a little boy in Windhelm. Name of Aventus Aretino. Get this. He's been trying to contact the Dark Brotherhood. Foolish lad.
Yeah,
It's so nice to just talk a little, you and I. I was just thinking, would you be interested if I told you a little about myself? As I told you before, my parents weren't happy on my plans to go to the Skyrim Bard College. It was not only that they wanted me to be an alchemist, they also wanted me to get married. Ever since I was little, my father and our neighbor, Sigar, have been joking about that I should marry Sigar's son Halvdan. I thought they were just teasing us. Believe me, Halvdan isn't the kind of guy any girl with some sense would want to marry. He's an arrogant, spoiled little brat who thinks that every girl in the village adores him and would love to spend her life spoiling him even further. I never got along with him, especially not after he tried to kiss me and I smacked him. Somewhere where it probably hurt quite a lot. Therefore it came as a shock when my father said I couldn't go to the Bard College, as both my family and Halvdan's expected us to marry soon. What I thought was just a joke was seriously meant, and Halvdan, that jerk, said he was looking forward to taming the wildcat. Of course I got furious. Never ever would I want to marry someone I didn't love. My parents, of course, weren't too happy when I told them this, but eventually they accepted. But Halvdan, that jerk, he wouldn't take no for an answer. He yelled and screamed at me, and when I told him I didn't want to listen any further, he yelled that he would have his revenge, sooner or later. 2 days later, my precious flute, the one my grandmother had given me, was nowhere to be found. Halvdan had had his revenge. Oh, I actually have a pretty good idea about that, and I'd be happy to tell you all about it, but not right now. We have things to do, haven't we? There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Have you got a minute? I was just thinking, maybe I'm talking too much. I could understand that. Just tell me if you don't want me to be so talkative. I see. Well, I can understand that you need some time for your own thoughts instead of listening to me all the time. Oh, that's sweet of you. Let me see if you have anything I like. Thank you. I'm so glad that we're traveling to El. Good idea. I always enjoy these quaint villages in Skyrim. So quiet and relaxing. Just needs more place to go shopping.
Better come with us right now. I don't know who you think I am, and I don't care. Leave me alone.
I don't have time for this foolishness. Now come along quietly, and we won't have to get rough. Brother, I think she's telling the truth.
I'm not going anywhere. Back off before I do something bad.
She doesn't have the scope. What? Oh, you're right. We've made a mistake. Now move along before that mouth of yours gets you into trouble.
Next time you're looking to pester someone, make sure it's the right person.
Beware the dragon bone come. La da do 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 do. Beware the dragon bone come. La da do 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 da da da. Uh-oh. Look over there. That's a bandit.
No one bats an oar.
You are as good as... I'm learning fast. Don't you think so too? I thought I heard footsteps. Now I'm gonna get you.
Time to end this little game.
We are a good team. Don't you think so? If you look around here, you will often find butterflies.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Ah, a letter from the Jarl. Moving up in the world, eh? Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Do yourself a favor and don't have
You look
children.
like you've seen your share of
Good
adventure.
for nothing at all.
I envy you that. In fact, maybe you can help me with something. It's true. For as long as I can remember, our crops have always done well. I'm not sure whether it's the soil, climate, or the favor of the divines, but we've never had a poor harvest. Born and raised right here in Rorikstead. My father was a soldier. He fought in the Great War, and when it was over, he retired here to raise a family. My mother passed away when I was just a babe, so he did his best to raise me on his own. It's not the most exciting place in the world, but the people here work hard. They don't cause trouble for anyone. I want to be an adventurer like you. My father says I can't. He says he needs me to stay here and work the farm. And even if he did let me be an adventurer, we couldn't afford to buy armor. His name is Mralki, and he's the innkeeper here. I hope you could change his mind. Thank you. I can't stand the thought of being trapped in this village for the rest of my days.
I troubles, so don't go adding to them.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. If you need a meal or room, I've got both. My son? Eric? What about him? Did something happen? Is he all right? But the world is a dangerous place. Eric has no idea what he's getting himself into. What's more, he's got no armor. I'll have to save up the money for it. You would give your own coin to help my son? I'm moved by your compassion. Your kind deed will not go unrewarded, my friend. Tell Eric I've changed my mind and will visit Whiterun soon to fit him for armor.
Oh, sorry.
Do yourself a favor and don't have children.
Did you have any luck talking to my father? I can't thank you enough, friend. I hope you'll come back to Rorikstead soon and pay me a visit. Maybe we can swap stories about our adventures over a mug of ale at the inn. Until next time.
Are you finished ogling the grotesque? I am one of the afflicted. Returning to Kesh could tell you more. I just want out of Skyrim as quickly as possible.
I'm on my way to Windhelm to join up with the Stormcloaks. Ulfric has the right of it.
sword. Don't you even try that.
Uh-oh. Did I scratch your pretty face? How are you doing? You don't look well at all. You look so pale. Are you ill?
Is someone there?
You will make a lovely pelt. I'm not afraid of you. Uh-oh. Look over there. You don't scare me. You're a creep. You're as good as dead.
you see a dog out there? I don't know, really. The blacksmith is offering a reward for a dog he saw on the road. I was hoping you'd seen it. I guess I'll stay on the lookout. Keep your nose clean while you're here, outsider.
You there. The Dawn Guard is looking for anyone willing to fight against the growing vampire menace. What do you say? We're vampire hunters. We search out and destroy those blood-sucking scum wherever we find them. You're not paying attention then, like almost everyone else around here. Haven't you heard that the Hall of the Vigilance was destroyed by vampires? They never took the threat seriously, and now they paid the price. The Vigilance mostly hunt down Daedra worshippers, which is why they got torn to pieces when they went up against vampires. That's why our leader, Isran, is re-establishing the Dawn Guard. Real, serious vampire hunters. Ha! Isran's going to like you. Go talk to him at Fort Dawn Guard, southeast of Riften. He'll decide if you're Dawn Guard material.
Are you feeling sick?
Yes. What is it that you want? Ah, it's you. Yes, well, now we'll see if the stories about you are true. There's a group of bandits in my hold that I may have had a few discreet dealings with. The cut they were giving me was good at first, but now it's time to clean things up. Go and take care of it. Good. Execute every last bandit. Spare no one.
I protect the Jarl, whoever that might be.
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. vampire hunters or something in the old fort near Riften. Might consider joining up myself.
Strangers like you bring war. I've seen enough war.
God Arkay was once like us, bound to winding mortality. But he willingly gave up this existence that we might better understand the vagaries of life and death. It is through the ebb and flow of this cosmic tide that we find renewal, and in the end, peace. May the spirit of Lavinia and all those who have left this world and its suffering know the beloved serenity of Aetherius. And may we one day rejoin them in eternity.
A sad time. Our daughter, our little girl, she hadn't seen her 10th winter. He ripped her apart, like a saber cat tears it. Sinding came true as a laborer. He's stewing in the pit while we figure out what to do. What could drive a man to do something like this? Honest pay for honest work. I just don't understand what kind of man does that.
My husband Matthias and I tend Corpse Light Farm. Falkreath is a hard place, and tending a farm here is thankless work.
Mom said a new mommy and daddy, so I'll have 2 of each now.
I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. I think we should go to an inn and have a nice meal.
Come on in. Just don't sit tired. Take a seat and get the cold out.
What can I do for you? Keep a song in your heart to ward off the gloom.
Unless you intend to bury... No, Falk, I just finished giving... Could you deliver the ashes to Runil? Thank you. Until next time.
If it's a duel you seek, stranger, then I am not here to fulfill your desire for pain, or free you from your wretched existence. Ah, yes, and what, pray? Perhaps you wish to discuss both. How delightful. But why bother with the foreplay? You seek Well, you are too late. I am no longer a Thalmor. The clothes are just that. Clothes. I will not discard a perfectly adequate robe. A peculiar position to take, seeing that I have no side to speak of. If you are with the Thalmor, then I am no longer with you. If you are an enemy of the Thalmor, then I am no longer against you. Regardless, we are in no way in league with each other. Very well.
Welcome to Dead Man's Drink. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way. Let me know if there's anything else you need.